The Morning Brew podcast with Jaffe and Razor, sponsored by Berkshire Bank Home Lending. Where you borrow matters. All right, Razor. Well, a nice win. Boston Bruins take it to the Florida Panthers 4-2 on Tuesday night at TD Garden. A game that I don't know if we would have termed it a measuring stick game so much as would be a just do it right, play right type of game. Outcome important, I think, because it ensures you a better spot in the playoff race. Either you have a chance for third or you stay in seventh. But more than anything, a game where I think you have an opportunity to say to yourself, look, we know they're good, but maybe we can show that we can play with them if you end up playing them in the playoffs. We welcome you into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, presented by Berkshire Bank, as always, and also brought to you by Fazenda Coffee, Bay State Brewery, and Max Pro Hockey. So a good night at the Garden for the Bruins, Razor.
Yeah, no question. You beat the best team in the league, the team that's probably going to win the President's Trophy. Again, this time of year, we've talked about it, whether you lose to Ottawa 3-2 or whether you beat the Florida Panthers 4-2, you feel like you're always looking ahead and how does this size up and how does this work come playoff time? But the reality is the Bruins are beating playoff teams now. And you have to feel good about that. If we'd be sitting here probably wondering where they were at if they lost 5-2 and got thoroughly outplayed. Because more importantly, the Bruins really outplayed this team. And if Florida had to come back and tied it 3-3, and the reality was the Bruins really got to their game. They were really hard to play against again. And I don't. They're a tough out. They just are, and they've definitely proven that against the Rangers, the Lightning, and now the Panthers. The last 3 playoff games.
Does it matter that even Bruce Cassidy mentioned in his post-game presser that Florida didn't seem to have the same jump that they normally do? Partly that the Bruins, he felt they deserve some credit, but also perhaps the fact that they know where they are. They know they're the top dog in the Eastern Conference. They likely will get the President's Trophy too, as you mentioned. But I talked to Andrew Burnett, their head coach, before the game. He talked about wanting to play better after that Tampa game from the other night. So, but does it matter that even your coach, the Bruins coach, noticed or felt that they didn't have the same jump?
No, it doesn't to me, because he would say the same thing if it was the other way, right? Like if the Bruins, let's just take it and move it to the other way. The Bruins lost 8-4 to Tampa Bay, and then they just lost 4-2 to Florida in the last 2 games, and were outscored 12-6. We would be going bananas right now. Bruins fans would be going nuts. And that's what just happened to the Florida Panthers the last 2 games. So it's either one or the other. I'm down the middle kind of guy. I think these games are tough for all the teams involved. Florida doesn't have jump because they're waiting to play whoever they're going to play in the first round. I think the Bruins are in
Washington.
The Bruins are in the same position. They're all, everyone's going through this a little bit, but when you look at the Bruins game and they're not giving up very much right now, when you have Lindholm and Pasternak in the lineup, you got to feel good. They're going to play Carolina in the first round. I feel good about that. That's fine.
Yeah. Carolina missing both of their what we'll call starting regular goaltenders, although Antti Ranta did back up on Tuesday night against the New York Rangers, and they played Pyotr Kochekov
Yeah, he's going to be a disaster for us if he ends up being the
It
starter.
it will be, but I will
We'll get the hang of
practice.
it.
We will get
Felter, the
yes.
Northeastern goaltender, is still the hardest thing ever. So
It,
Felter figured it out, and
which,
we'll
by the
figure
way,
this
I
out.
saw that Felter, I think, put his name in the transfer portal.
Yeah, he went to ASU.
He did.
He did. He went to ASU.
Opportunity to play. He's going to play a lot more there. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the climate will be just a tad bit
warmer.
Anyway, so yeah, the Canes having to play their goalie, who they're calling up from the American Hockey League, who has a wonderful reputation. Probably could use another half a year of seasoning though in the American League, but might get thrown into it, as it sounds, or at least seems, like Freddie Anderson's not going to be ready come playoff time, at least, beginning of next week. We know playoffs are beginning, by the way, folks, either Monday or Tuesday. Hearing
Which is a quick turnaround.
It is a quick turnaround. Hearing rumblings of a Monday start for the Bruins, but do not hold me to it. But that's what I
will.
Thank you. Yep. Back to this game, and then I want to talk to you about a few things. The numbers are really back up. They're pretty impressive, Razor, from this game. The total chances for 47-35 in favor of the Bruins. Shots total, though, that reached in at 30-18 for the Bruins. Just 3 shots on goal in the third period. 3 shots allowed in the third period for the Florida Panthers. The high danger scoring chances were 15-5 in favor of the Bruins. And again, if folks, I'm pulling this off of naturalstattrick.com. Naturalstattrick.com. If you haven't been on it, it's somewhat heavy analytics. On the other hand, it's also got some great stuff. Like, this is a great game to use the heat map, Razor, from where it shows from where the shots came from in this game. And the Bruins, besides giving up that goal at the end of the first period, I mean, maybe gave up 2 from within 6 feet or so. And if you look at the Bruins heat map, it is they use a bright orange for the Bruins. They are laden with opportunities from right around, and all 3 goals, besides the empty netter, were scored within 12 feet, maybe, or so, of Sergei Bobrovsky. So this is an indicative statistical night that you should go take a look at naturalstattrick.com. And I thought that, look, from the first period on, the Bruins got to the front of the net against Sergei Bobrovsky.
They did, and that's the one. So you look at the game, and we're gonna talk about Aaron Ekblad a little bit. Like, those guys, he's not in the lineup, so maybe it's easier for the Bruins to get to the front of the net. But the heat chart at the Bruins end, there wasn't anyone out of the lineup. They still need points. They still want to. Huberdeau wants to go for his Hart Trophy. They still want to have opportunities to score goals. This team is all about that. And the Bruins distinguish that or extinguish that the entire night. And I think that's the heat map for me is important at that end of the ice. So the Bruins end of the ice, Florida's going to give things up, and they took advantage of that. And you could say, well, they were just taking the night off or Ekblad. But for the Bruins, that's what proves to me that they're going to be hard to be. They're a hard out. Is because of how good their defensive structure is, especially when Lindholm gets to play 26 minutes, McAvoy gets to play 26 minutes. That defense core is different. It looks different. Okay. It plays different with those guys are in there.
It does. But let's fast forward. And I know we probably shouldn't do this because, holy shit, we're going to talk about this again on either Friday or when we do it. We're going to do a show Friday as well, Razor, after the Toronto game, the last one. And then we're going to do a playoff preview, whoever the Bruins end up playing,
So let's just make sure Friday is really fun, right?
Yes.
Friday, everybody, Friday is a gimme. Friday, no, we're not going to overreact to a loss in Toronto on Friday night.
Right. Yeah. I wish you were working Friday. And we could do it right at Nesson, right after. Crack open a Bay State brewery, a little Mike Light.
Over. I haven't seen Barry in like 5 months, so maybe I'll come and hang out.
He hasn't changed. He's just gotten older. We talked on pregame on Nesson that we both thought that this would be a great opportunity to see Lindholm and McAvoy moved around a little bit. And what we meant by that was McAvoy play with Grizz, which we've seen an awful lot, but then Carlo playing with Lindholm, with Hampus Lindholm. And we never saw that. Not even, if I'm saying that we never saw a shift, if I missed one of them, I'm sorry. We never saw that. Did that surprise you? It did surprise me a little, if only because this seems to be the perfect time to challenge, to tweak, and I guess to experiment. And we didn't see any of that.
Yes,
Which leads
I
me to believe that we're not going to see it.
yeah, yeah, that's uh, yeah. So I don't think we're going to see it. I think that proves that tonight. To your point, I think, and you and I talked off air, and I thought I would like to see it a little bit. I would like to see the toggling of minutes. I would love to see maybe McAvoy start a shift, Lindholm end a shift, Carlo jump, whatever that, however that works on the back end. But it seems as though, and it seems as though we're going to see those guys together. The interesting part of it, and it seems as though it's going to be okay. Carlo's going to play 20 minutes if we're up, or Grizzlick's going to play 20 minutes if we're down. And then the bottom three, Forbert's going to play 17 minutes when we have to kill penalties, and Clifton's playing 13 minutes no matter what. And it does slot guys properly that way. And we're probably going to see McAvoy and Lindholm go to 30. We really are, like, because even tonight against Florida, it looked easy for both of those guys. I think they're going to push them more towards 28, 29, 30. But to your point, and maybe then we see that Lindholm Carlo in the defensive zone, or a Lindholm or a McAvoy Grizzlick, or maybe even a Grizzlick Lindholm, right? Like, I get they're both on the left side, but maybe you move one of those guys if you need a little offense up front. Any rotation of those four guys, I think we see more of, but I also think that we're going to see the majority of those go to McAvoy and Lindholm because they're workhorses.
They are, yeah. They're comfortable doing it, and they're fine. And in fact, I think they probably yearn for it. Numbers to solidify your points. Hampus Lindholm, 25-28. He had 3 shots on goal, a couple of hits in the game. Charlie McAvoy, 26-17, 3 shots on goal, 2 blocks, a takeaway, and a hit. Brandon Carlo, 19-18. He had 2 hits in the game. Matt Grizzlick, 14-49. No shots on goal, 1 attempt that got blocked. Connor Clifton ended up seeing just 12:48 of ice time, although in that time he had 4 hits. Good number for Connor there. Derek Forbort, 16-14 in this game, which a minute and 8 of that was shorthanded. He had 2 hits in the game, and he had a block shot. I like that we're seeing from Forbort and Clifton the simplicity to their game. They seem to have good, at least not better communication, better feel for each other. Maybe I'm making it up, and it's a crock of shit here, but it just seems like they're more comfortable playing together right now. Why now compared to weeks ago? I don't know. Maybe the focus wasn't there. Maybe now this is playoff ready, and they need to be, they need to be physical. They need to close gaps. That pair cannot. They can't spend a lot of time in their own zone, Razor. That's what they have to avoid. So they have to close, and that's where Clifton can help out Forbort a lot, and they've got to get pucks out. And that's where Forbort can help Clifton. Forbort's got to make sure he gets that puck out. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's got to be able to do that. And they do that, then they are a fine pair, because I do think that they understand what their role is.
Yeah, exactly. And can you foresee McAvoy Lindholm playing 11 minutes in third periods of this first round?
I can because they will, have days off in between, and they're gonna not even have practice. It's just gonna be game nothing. They're gonna play. Yes, they're in, especially if the team is tied.
If it's a close game, they're playing 11, 12 minutes in that third period, right?
And again, to your point, it will be, if they're up, if it's a close game and they're up, it'll be Carlo who will play 8 minutes or 9. If they're down, it'll be Grizz that will do that.
Yeah.
But good numbers, good. Listen, the contrast, the stark contrast, Razor, in structure between the Bruins and the Panthers in the game on Tuesday night. was really interesting. I mean, if you really wanted to do a video session, it would probably be mundane for certain people. I'd enjoy it, but you could probably just watch a period and just watch how in the neutral zone. I mean, Radko Gudas, I mean, we saw it on Pasta's pass over to Howla, but there were other instances too where he gets caught in no man's land. There's not a lot of layered support after that. There's not a lot of reloading at times. There's a lot of quick exits by the Panthers, but there's not a lot of structured defense. And I feel like if you can get wide puck movement, use the middle and move it wide against them. We saw the Bruins with numerous opportunities with goal mouth passes. And, it's, can you write it off, Razor, as lack of interest? Or is it, wait a second, if this team can't strip pucks and turn it in transition against you quickly and stretch it, that's where they're going to have their issues. I think part of the first, but more of the second. I've talked to people around Florida too before. There are question marks about this D still.
Yeah, there is, and there's again. I haven't watched enough Florida of 82 games, but they're definitely there. I'm not betting on them. There's no way I'm betting on them. There's no way that the whole President Trophy thing on top of it. But Ekblad, not seeing them with an Ekblad in the last little while, it changes things. We haven't seen them for 6 months. It's really hard to really negotiate. But what I saw tonight, that just and listen, we've talked about it here. We talked about it in Essen. The referendum on offense and defense is coming this playoffs with the Colorados, with the Floridas, and can they outscore teams to win playoff games? I'm still not convinced of it. I don't think there's enough power plays in playoff time. I think the ice shrinks so much that you do have to score goals still in the NHL, but defense wins out at the end of the day. And Tampa's been a perfect example of that the last couple of years. They have a perfect mix of scoring goals, being creative, but also shutting things down.
Win 1-0 game, yeah.
That every series they win 1-0, right? That's what they've done the last couple of years. And Florida can't do that right now. Maybe Ekblad can switch that a little bit, but they can't do that. And that's where the Bruins can. The Bruins, I really do believe the Bruins can.
Since they traded for Ben Sherratt right around the trade deadline, the plan actually was going to be to put Montour and Sherratt together. And then you were going to have...
Thank God the Bruins didn't get Ben Sherratt. Remember when everyone wanted Ben Sherratt? Oh, my God. What a disaster.
I never really wanted to, just for the price.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, and again, and this is not...
He's not Hampus Lindholm.
He's not. No.
Woo, boy.
No, he is not Hampus Lindholm. And that is, I will speak for you here. That is not Bruins homerism speaking. You could ask 10 NHL executives and they would tell you the same thing.
Yeah,
they would. What has gotten into Taylor Hall? I mean, now, he's shooting to score instead of shooting to kind of score. He's beaten Igor Shesterkin. He's eaten Sergei Bobrovsky. Shesterkin at least got a little bit of his oversized jersey on that on the glove side. Bobrovsky didn't even move. He couldn't. You pointed out you thought he was almost in shock that the play was coming right back at him 6 seconds or whatever it was after the goal was scored. But what I like is where Taylor Hall is releasing the puck from, man. He's putting it in a spot where I think it's making the goalies think just for a half a second. Is he going to bring it back to the backhand or is he going to let it go? And as soon as he lets it go, he doesn't get too close either. He shoots it from just good enough distance that really, I think, plays with the goaltender's read and mind a bit.
And those two shots, that lefty coming down the left wing to pull it and go top right. The goalie's left. It's not the best angle, the trajectory. I definitely want to hear what you think about this. And I was thinking about it on the drive home tonight. Hall, Haula, Ullmark, those three guys. I think it might be hard to come to Boston and have Patrice and have Brad and have McAvoy and have and not in a a challenging way, but just trying to fit in and try and really feel comfortable and feel as though everyone makes you feel really welcome, but also be assertive at times. I think it seems as though those three guys might have started out, maybe their personalities are more deferral at certain times, but it feels like they've settled into, I'm going to help this team and I'm going to make my mark with this team. And I think Taylor Hall especially, but I also think Ullmark and Halla fit into that a little bit, where they get here, they want to put their toe in the water, and yeah, it's Brad's team, it's Patrice's team, and David's team, and these are the guys, and Charlie, and we're going to defer a little bit, but I think they've all figured out after 82 games how they can make this team better, and how they can be real positive, and Taylor Hall has certainly done that. The 60 points that you talk about was right on in September, October, and it's right on right now. It's come to fruition.
You get and by the way, shit, my computer has been giving me issues. I don't have it open. I'm gonna try and pull it up while we're doing this. Most of Taylor Hall's points are not on the power. Like, he's not picking up, cookies on the power play here.
No. They're not second assists on the power play, to your point.
No,
absolutely.
he's picking up a lot of points at even strength, which is what, when I was going over that pregame doing some work. So now Taylor Hall with 19 goals and
40 assists.
Yeah, and 40. He's got 6 goals, or on the power play. He had 6 goals. That's it. So 13 of his goals on the power play. And then on his assists, only 7 of them come on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's putting up some legit even strength numbers. I get your point, and I completely agree with your point. I think all 3 of those guys, though, in a different way, are incredibly confident players.
Mm-hmm.
Very like, you listen to Howla talk, very confident. Taylor Hall, even you'll pick up sentences here and there about certain things. I'm shooting like a goal scorer now, he said tonight in an interview, and he does other things. And they were like that before. I wonder if they had, and maybe I'm repeating it, the same thing you said, but just in a different way, a tad of the not insecurity, but just not even deferral, just, okay, maybe I shouldn't be too brash here. I mean, Linus came in and talked the talk, but it took him a while. He's very matter of fact. I find him very, very engaging listening to him, almost fun in a way, in a different, but very confident. And maybe, when you're that confident and you don't have that immediate success, then you start saying to yourself, okay, I better, like you said, I
got to pull back a little bit.
I better pull back a little bit. And the worst thing that a pro athlete like that can do is pull back. It's counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
But now Linus and his glove, Taylor and his shot, Howla and his everything, right now,
I know,
have come through remarkably well for this team. Love seeing Taylor Hall get that shot off like that. Love it. What can a goalie do to work on his glove? Because Linus Ullmark's glove, which I think has always been one of his strong suits, but has, the last 10 games overall? I mean, it's particularly the last 3 or 4 games, a couple against the Rangers, a couple against, what was it, St. Louis, if I remember correctly, or is it Tampa? Forgive me. What can a goalie do besides just take shots and have it hit him in the glove to work on that?
For me, that's like, with Linus and the way he's been flashing it's a confidence thing. It's an assertive glove. I think, like the glove tonight for Nagy, he was a little out of position, but and it's also his athleticism and how long he is and how big he is. The ones against the Rangers to his left, that a lot of guys that ends up hitting their shoulder or hitting, he's just out there with his glove because it's aggressive. So long answer is, you can't really do that. You can't really fix your glove. You're not really going to get better at your glove now than you were 4 months ago. It's more of a confidence thing. It's a feeling good about yourself. The glove can be very indicative of how you feel mentally between your ears as a goaltender. You catch it easily. You don't think about it when you're
Yeah.
feeling good, and when you're struggling, you're swatting at it a little bit. You're just a little behind. You're being aggressive. You're trying to get ahead, or you're trying to be behind, whatever it is. And so I think for Linus, I think that glove goes to puck handling, goes to his mentality as he answers questions, and just how he feels about himself to make glove saves.
I tell you, man, he catches it and he doesn't flash it at all. He doesn't snap it. He doesn't showboat it and roundhouse it. It's just catch it and he makes a big save, but he doesn't show you. He doesn't
Mhm.
do some of that stuff. He doesn't. What I'm finding is lately is that Linus doesn't have to make saves look like big saves anymore. They're just making saves now. And there's other goalies that will come across and they'll snap up the glove and they'll bring it near the ear when they don't really have to. And he doesn't do that. At least I haven't seen any of that in his game. And I think that that's just a good visual, man. I do. It's a controlled, good visual. Um, the goal that was scored at the end of the period by Reinhardt, I felt like he had a hard time finding the puck a little bit. Then again, I thought all the Bruins looked like, what,
Yeah.
leading up to it and off that draw too. But otherwise, a real solid effort. You and I both expect him to start on Thursday, right? We'd
Yeah.
expect him to start,
Yeah.
and
You
Swayman
give him
starts
the
Friday.
home start against his old team again.
Yeah,
Let him have that one. And then, especially if you're turning around on Monday,
yeah.
absolutely give him. At, I guess he has to go to Toronto.
Nope,
You
he doesn't. You can call up Grosnick.
if Yeah, I guess it depends on who you're calling. Like, I would rather them save that call up spot for one of the forwards and not play them, and just let him Allmark sit on the bench,
Yeah.
and hang out for the day.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
would almost rather him stay at home. I know that's just a
well,
player. I
the
mean,
good
that's
thing is that the other way, if you look at it, he stays home on Friday. He gets a little work. He gets a great work day in on Saturday.
mm,
Then a cruise day Sunday, get on a plane and play Monday night. Like, that would be ideal. But if you don't want to waste it, I'd also don't want McAvoy, Bergeron, Marchand, any of those guys playing. So if you have to take one of
right.
those spots and let Allmark sit on the bench, then he does that.
Yeah, well, we're going to touch on that in a minute here about what we could see going up, how it could shake out for the Bruins as we talk a little bit more about the Bruins 4-2 victory over the Florida Panthers and where they're at. But first, quickly, Razor, let me just remind folks about the people besides Berkshire Bank, our presenting sponsor, that help make this show possible. The first one is Bay State Brewing Company. They're located in Worcester, 112 Harding Street. And I just grabbed off my shelf behind me. Becky likes the smell, the double IPA. Sometimes double IPAs can be real strong, obviously real heavy because higher alcohol and everything. This was delicious when I had it the other day. Just nice and easy, and felt like I could have a couple of these. And it didn't have an overly not heavy and hoppy. I just thought it was a really full-bodied, beautiful double IPA. So they've got beers like this, other stuff like cold brew infused coffee IPA. They've got a blood orange lager, a Vienna lager. They've got something for everyone. They've been producing really amazing, handcrafting, distinctive, and drinkable beer since 2012. Go visit them. Attached to two hockey rinks and just a couple of blocks from the Woo Sox new ballpark at 112 Harding Street in Worcester. That's Bay State Brewing.
no.
Also, Max Pro Hockey and Max Grachev. And if you have a youngster who's looking to do some camps coming up in the summer, go check out his Red Machine, beg your pardon, Red Machine camps. They are 5 days of fun from 9 until 5. Go to maxprohockey.com. Kids will do a ton of different things there. They will work on skating, stick handling, body contact. They will do a lot of different style drills than you'll see at other places. Go to maxprohockey.com to check it out. And lastly, Fazenda. Our friends at Fazenda Razor, you're representing with the mug tonight, I see, is
I
the
have
Fazenda
Fazenda
mug.
mug.
And I made a pot of Fazenda on Sunday for Vic and I. And she smelled it coming downstairs and she was thrilled. She said, "Oh, you made a pot today." And I did, because we've been so freaking busy. I haven't been able to make coffee regularly at home the last few days. So I made one, and it was fantastic. A beautiful, actually, it was a big pot of French roast that we made. So we enjoyed that. So Fazenda, go to fazendacoffee.com. Our friends located in Dedham. Go check them out if you want to buy them retail at Whole Foods, or go to fazendacoffee.com, order 45 or more, and get your gorgeous limited edition collector's item morning brew mug. Mugs are there. Our fans, Razor, our listeners have been sending in pictures of their mugs.
The mugs, Mike. Love the mugs. So
mugs
great. I sent 4 mugs back to Belleville last weekend.
Nice.
Everyone's excited about them, my crew. So
awesome. We are getting more and more listeners from Canada all the time. We're getting more and more listeners everywhere. We really appreciate, folks, everything that you do to support us here. We love doing this. It is fun. And if you can support any of our sponsors, we'd appreciate it. They're all good people, and we look forward to bringing you more different opportunities, different sponsorship opportunities as we get even deeper. And by the way, not only doing a show on Friday, we will do a series preview show before quickly as well. And then after every Bruins playoff game, Razor and I will be doing a morning brew with Jaffe and Razor. Let's talk a few other things. We wrap this one before we wrap it up, Razor. The importance of the empty net goal for Brad Marchand. Very much so. I mean, it's cliche. We say it in the past. Oh, that could be the start of something good for that so-and-so player. But for this player, this wasn't a 4-game streak or a 5-game streak. What were we on, 11? I mean, that was important. He hit the net. He even knew it. Doesn't mean he's going to score 2 against Buff. Who the hell knows? But the fact it came from his best buddy, Patrice, on a beautiful pass, and he puts it in, I think it's important.
I agree. And usually I those are minimal, but at this time of year, and you could see all the guys. And with Brad, you get to make fun of him about it, right? But the guys are making fun that he scored an empty netter to get off the streak, and you can release the tension in the entire room making fun of Brad, and that's the beauty, and that's what's his character is so important to this dressing room, because he's that kid that goes nuts in the classroom, but as soon as he does something, then you can grab him and make fun of him for doing something good too. And it's important to everybody. I think we saw that in the celebration when he scored it. I think Patrice can now relax because he doesn't have to worry about what Brad's going to do in the last 2 regular season games. And so, yes, he can have a bad streak going into the playoffs. So he gets off of that streak. He's going to be ready to compete game 1.
Another good game from Jake DeBrusk. We documented, we broke down going to the net. Instinctively, you brought up the point, which was excellent, that probably weeks, if not or months ago, he probably would have looked for it to be an outlet pass guy in the corner instead of just pivoting, going right to the net. I loved his body positioning, how he turned almost simultaneously when the puck was coming off the shoulder of Sergei Bobrovsky, who, by the way, played a pretty good game. I will give Bob credit. He played pretty good. I'm still not buying completely, though, come playoff time. Every save has to be a big save for Sergei Bobrovsky, and that's a tough way to play goalie at times, I think. You know better than me, but that's just my take. But I thought Jake DeBrusk with a really good game. I mean, this top line dominated. Patrice Bergeron with 8 shots on goal. DeBrusk with 4, I beg your pardon, with 1 goal, 2 shots on net. Brad Marchand ended up with 5 shots on net and 3 hits. They dominated 14-4 were the chances on net at the end of the game. But Jake DeBrusk going to the front, putting it in, after the puck came, I love the no hesitation shot from Marchand off the right wing half wall too, to give the Bruins a 3-2 lead. And again, they end up winning on an empty netter 4-2. But that top line really showed up well. Bergeron 13 of 20 in the faceoff circle.
Yeah, of course. He gets his 13 of 20. That's right around. I didn't go to an Ivy League school. It's right around a 62%, though. That gets him to that number.
But not bad.
Yeah. I mean, these guys they're the locks. Game 1, they're going to bring similar numbers. And listen, They want to show Barkov, and we've seen that with this team when the Toronto Maple Leafs. They showed up Austin Matthews. They've shown up Mitch Marner. Nights like this where it's Barkov, they're going to do it. Looks like Carolina, you're going to have Aho, and you're going to have these guys,
Svechnikov. Yep.
But they're going to have to show up. They're going to have to do it again. And I think they're up for it.
All right, let's quickly wrap up with this. Let's play kind of bit of a guess the Friday lineup, because again, we're not going to do after Thursday's game when they play Buff. We're going to do it after Friday's game the next morning, Bru. They've got, assuming everybody's healthy, Bleed, McLaughlin. I always have a hard time with that. McLaughlin.
I know. Me too.
And then Riley. Boston. I know. And then Riley and Brown, right? Am I forgetting anybody that has been scratched? Those four? Am I up here right now? Am I forgetting anybody else?
That's right.
And then they're allowed 4 call-ups because they haven't. Now, I have to be
the salary cap thing, right?
The salary cap. Like, I don't know where they're at, and I don't have it open in front.
But they've got the $5 million kicking around that they tried to open up, right? So they should be all right with.
So then they should.
I don't know
what
that means. I don't know what that means.
Well, then no, because every day that you don't use it, it accrues and it's fine. So in theory, they should be fine. They could then, in theory, call up 4 players. They could have 8 different players in the lineup. So let's just pretend, and we could be totally wrong here. Let's pretend they can get 8 players up. Who are the 8 that we are taking out?
Well, I'm taking out McAvoy. McAvoy, Lindholm. No chance they're going to Canada. Right. Not even thinking about
37 and 63. No chance.
Yep.
There's no reason. Neither one of them have played every game and milestone or anything. Yep. I'd like to think that 88's not going, considering we know that he's still battling something.
He's the first one. 37's the other one.
Right. So, no, I've got McAvoy, Lindholm, Bergeron, Marchand, Pasta right there.
Yeah. So that's 5.
Right. Now, Taylor Hall's played every game this year.
Is that important? Yeah, I would say Taylor Hall's really important to this team. But send him up there, let him play 7 minutes, 82-game season. It is something, like that does go down. He's going back home. Maybe he hasn't seen his family since the last time he was in Toronto.
All right, so I'm going to guess that Grizz is out. We know that he's bad, right?
Yeah, Grizz can take the extra couple days.
That he's been, dealing with stuff. So that's 6 right there. That's 6 players. And
Charlie Coyle, Smith.
Well, I mean, Holla for Christ, I mean, in theory, you play that Coyle line, and maybe you keep them together.
Maybe you go Coyle and Holla out.
Yeah, well, call up a Studnicka, somebody else. I mean, again, we don't know what they're going to be able to do. I'm just trying to play a fun game. I think we have 6 for sure in those guys, and then it comes down to the Coyle.
And any of the guys we're kind of talking about are going to play 10 minutes. And Toronto's going to do the same, everybody, because Toronto is they're locked and loaded. They're going to play nobody up there. You won't see Austin Matthews Friday night.
You don't think so, huh?
No. He's got 60 goals. He won't. They're playing back-to-back as well.
Yeah. Be interesting who these other 2 would end up being if they brought up 4 players and they dressed the other 4. That would be 8 players, and that would give a lot of guys some rest, especially after playing on Thursday night. All right, well, we'll see what happens. That's going to wrap up this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor. The Bruins win 4-2 over the Florida Panthers. It looks like a pretty good chance that they're going to end up in that 7 spot, which means number 1 wild card, which means the Carolina Hurricanes. And we know they're starting Monday or Tuesday. Again, rumblings of a Monday start, but for what it's worth, does it really matter? Well, it gives you 1 extra day. That's about it. The first 2 games we know will be on the road. Everybody have a wonderful day. Razor and I will talk to you after Friday. So have wonderful days, plural. And it's coming off of a Bruins win. Enjoy maybe multiple coffee.